need to look at that.
I agree. Wait.
So I need to make sure I don't.
I just realized.
If I start looking at it, I won't be able to
What did
stop.
you realize?
Last
So
time,
you can look at
like,
this though.
he ended up turning off the the display halfway through because we were looking down or something like that, and then I was unable to talk. I was focusing on it the whole time.
We're live.
We're
by
live.
The way.
Okay.
He already started.
Anyway, Mike, very close. We got
Mike,
dynamic
very close.
mics today.
Okay.
Believe it or not, guys, this is. Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or not, this is actually a temporary setup. These mics belong to my
Yes.
father.
We are not using them more than tonight.
Because
Yes,
holding these for an hour is going to be tiring.
I agree.
Yes.
But
hey, welcome to the Odd Unicorn Podcast.
Hello.
glad you guys could be here. Hope you're having a great day. Yeah. We got a third person. We got new lights, new setup. It's going to be even newer next week.
With new mics?
New mics, yes. Well, new mics. Ones that I actually own. So
You
that'll
didn't
be nice.
own the ones that you were using before?
No. I don't
Oh,
own
I see.
these.
Because these are new mics as well. Got it. Okay,
Yes.
warning. I'm tired. I've been doing stuff like this all day where someone will say something and I'll not get it for a full minute.
Well, it's fine.
So
I'm also tired, but I had an energy drink during work. He's drinking a caffeinated bubbler. She's drinking a latte.
Mhm.
We are so caffeinated up, people might think we're heroin addicts, but just without the nasty side effects.
Yeah.
So, let's start this out.
Okay.
As per usual, Silas.
Yeah.
Never mind. Hi, welcome to the Odd Unicorn Podcast. I'm
Again?
Andrew, the co-host. Silas is our host, and today we have Elizabeth as our guest
Hello.
Today we want to talk about social
media.
Yes. I didn't realize that you were cueing me. I was
I
like,
tried 3 times.
I was like, oh, hi. Good to meet you.
Oh my word.
Anyway, yeah, we're talking about social media because it's a big thing, and believe it or not, just literally Saturday, I started getting back into social media,
Mhm.
yeah.
and it's changed a lot since I left.
It does change quickly. Social media does
Yeah.
change quickly.
Everything changes
crazy.
quickly these days.
Especially
True.
if it's on the internet.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
think the way we've done our jobs has changed since they started it.
No.
It's
No.
So, mostly internet things.
Yep.
Anyway, before we do that, though, also per usual, how's your week? We're going to let the lady go first. Ladies first.
It has been good. I've not been getting enough sleep, so that's not so great.
Mm,
But otherwise, and pretty much all I've been doing is going to work and doing not a whole lot in the evening. Today I went shopping after work with Luke, which was really fun. But
Luke
yeah.
being her boyfriend, by the way.
Something happened Saturday, though.
Ooh,
Oh yeah,
we
Saturday. I mean, that
are
wasn't
we
this
gonna
week,
save
but
that for what's making you happy, or do you want to tell
If
them
it's making her happy, we can save it, you know.
we'll save it for that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, we'll save it for that.
But no, that was
This-
a lot of fun.
Well, as a quick reference, this
Mhm.
week is from today to last Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
that
so you
that makes
guys
sense.
know.
Yeah.
It's every week, because we
Right.
just had the podcast
Right.
last Tuesday. So, yeah, my week's been interesting. Started off by doing a ton of work. Man, work has been crazy. We're doing wood that I don't appreciate. Even though it was originally touted as the easiest wood to do
Really.
in my position, but when other people don't do your job, you got to do more job.
Right.
Yeah. But enough said about that. Andrew,
My week, honestly, up till yesterday. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah,
It
so
is.
up till yesterday had been great. And then yesterday we started the wood he was talking about. It's 5-inch, running 5-inch. And for me, that's a pain.
Mhm.
But it's not been too bad. So it's been good.
awesome. In that case, hey, which mic is mine? Because I'm usually loud.
We're in a row.
We're in a row?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do, 3?
We could ask a person. What's
Am I
your
loud?
title?
Am I louder
Producer.
than the other two?
We don't know yet.
Oh.
Well, anyway, so what we're talking about is social media. We're kind of
Mhm.
giving. We want to give. Well, we'll just start it out with
A definition.
a definition.
Because I honestly, anytime we're doing specific topics like that, definition is always nice. Now, social media, I would say it's not as much of one you can define like in a dictionary.
Yeah.
Not quite as easily because
Mhm.
it's just
It's
there's
a
lot more to
cultural
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it really is a cultural thing.
Mhm.
So when we're talking tonight and we say social media, what are we talking about?
Beth, I would like you to explain it because of the three of us, you've been on it the most,
Yes.
and you use it, I would say, more in the correct way or the normal way.
Mhm.
Whereas me and Andrew just kind of like every once in a while will open it up and be like, he has a kid? And then we'll
right,
close it.
right.
I think that's happened actually before for me.
I'm talking about Jonathan.
Oh, yep, yep,
I didn't know ahead of time.
yep.
Yeah.
So I guess social media, each platform's a little different, but it's basically any platform where there's media to consume and and other people share it and you can interact with it, I would say. So like, YouTube, that's I mean that I don't know
Yeah.
if that's as much of the type that we're talking about, but
Yeah,
that's
I would
still
say
it still is social media
to
for
an
sure.
extent, yes. I
Yeah.
would definitely say it is. And a lot of the things as far as the positives and negatives can apply to that.
That's true.
But then also, I would say as a culture, the bigger and more, I guess, I would probably put it in two groups as far as social medias.
Mhm.
The media-focused social media and the social-focused social
Yes,
media. You
yes.
got YouTube,
Mhm.
TikTok, Pinterest,
Yep.
a couple others that most of the other ones are more obscure that are media-focused
Yep,
social medias
that's a
where
good
you
way to
can
put it.
interact, but it's more about here is a thing someone did or made,
Mhm.
and I'm going to see it or read it.
Yep.
And then there's social-focused social medias.
Yeah.
That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
Snapchat.
and those it's there is media involved, and a lot of times they've blurred the lines recently.
Yeah, Instagram definitely I'd say is kind of in the middle now.
Yeah,
It's
ugh.
it's used very much for both now, I would say.
Ugh.
I was thinking about it today, and I think a really good definition of social media would be a online platform where you can make friends
Yep.
with any random stranger.
Mhm.
'Cause I was thinking about it, there are some people people who are like super against social media will
Mhm.
sometimes
Yeah.
even say something like the app WhatsApp. They're like, that's
Mhm.
social media because you can post a story on there and stuff
Right.
like that. But I was thinking about it, you can only interact on there with somebody who's actually in your contacts.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to know them. You have to be able to find them. You have to type in
Mhm.
specifically who you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas something like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat,
Right.
You can-
Snapchat's similar, but still like there's people's
Yeah.
stories and stuff that you have no idea who this person is, but it's still popping up.
and you can get a friend request from somebody who
Right.
you don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's-
Yeah, so I guess then there would be three, because then there is, like you said, WhatsApp or Messenger.
I would say personally texting people though is not as much social media. I would put that in kind of a different
I would
category.
agree.
It's
Yeah.
There's a few
there's
overlaps,
similarities,
but
but-
really, I guess you're right. It is really different because of how personal and intentional it is,
right.
as opposed to traditional social media that is, I guess, would be more passive or at least more broad.
Something where you're putting something out there and anybody in your whether it's your friends group or if it's public, whoever sees it, everyone can see it.
Mhm.
Whereas with texting, you're usually just with one person or a group chat if it's a group.
Want to say a quick shout out to Chris? She commented, "Hi, Chris." Hello, Crystal.
Hi,
nice
Crystal.
to have you on here and
Hi.
listening to us.
So, now that we've defined it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we could step on to maybe giving some of the pros and cons of it.
So do
Mhm.
we want the good news first or the bad news? What are
Bad
we thinking?
news.
Bad news
Bad
first.
news.
Yeah.
I agree because this is probably also stuff that people have heard all the time, especially
Yes.
our
At least some of it.
demographic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what are some of the main potential harms of social media? Social media being as we just defined it.
I would say the one that pretty much everybody already knows, of course, is it can be a time waster. That's which some people may look at as not that big of a deal, but honestly, it definitely can be a big deal because, like, if
Yeah.
you think about it, back before you had social media, what did you do in your free time? You did hobbies. You did stuff that like improved yourself. But then
I played
think about
outside.
playing
I
outside.
make staffs.
But then with people who are on social media, even if it's just like an hour a day, which I guess some people probably aren't on it even that much, but plenty of people are on it several
2
hours a day.
Yeah, I would say the general populace at least an hour.
Right.
If we're being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So definitely a time waster. And I would say it also another big one that isn't as much of a problem for me personally, but I know for a lot of people it can be a big deal is comparison. Seeing stuff on there,
Confidence.
whether it's like you see people who look so much better than you or do their makeup better. Or maybe their life looks more perfect. They've got
They
cool
look
stuff.
people that seem to have a better life than you.
Right. So you can start comparing yourself to it and either be like, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, my
Yeah.
life isn't good enough, or I can't be happy unless
You know.
I've got at
Yeah.
least some of the
Mhm.
things they have. So comparison can definitely be a big thing, and then
Yeah.
that can also turn into like discontentment and covetousness and
or
all
depression
sorts of stuff.
and insecurity.
Right.
And-
Those things because of the other things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason why we would, harp on social media specifically rather than talking about life as a whole, because you can talk to regular people and they can
Mhm.
tell you about their real actual life and it might seem better to you. But I've come to realize the more you get to know people, the more you get to realize they have parts of their life that's great and parts of their life that's horrible.
Just like everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the best thing I've ever learned, and something once it stuck, it simultaneously gave me less and more sympathy for people, is everyone has problems, and no one's problems are bigger than anyone else's. You can't say, well, I'm not going to talk about my problems because other people have problems, because your problems are also big.
Yeah,
And-
because
Mhm.
we each interact with our own problems differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different level of how things affect them. So the big problem to them may be something that in that area of life doesn't hardly affect us at all.
Mhm.
Or the exact opposite.
Exactly, yeah.
And so, Alex Liz. No way, Alex, bro,
Does
awesome.
Silas tell you
Okay,
about that?
so I got it.
You got to
This
give him
is-
a shout
I
out now.
have I got to interrupt the podcast just to tell a really quick story because I was vlogging. By the way, that vlog is coming out Thursday. I'm gonna hold myself to it. Just do a quick edit about what happened Saturday, which we'll get to on what's making me happy.
Okay.
Anyway, so I was going with a GoPro, filming myself, getting a nitro coffee, which was suggested by one of the customers at Quick Trip. And then I come up to the counter, and the dude, his name is Alex, he goes, oh, I was like, hey, I'm just vlogging. He goes, yeah, no problem. Hands me his phone. He's like, here, type in the channel. And gives me a subscribe, gives me a sub, and I was like,
Nice.
no way. And you're right here.
Nice.
Alex,
That's
man,
awesome.
Yes.
awesome to
Nice
see you.
to see you.
Um,
Silas told me about that. And
yeah.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's
and
awesome.
even cooler that you're actually watching.
Okay,
Yeah, that's okay. That's pretty awesome. Yes.
nice to see you too, Alex. All right, let's get back on topic.
Okay.
Yes. So potential harms. We
Yes.
just talked about comparison. We just talked about seeing
And-
how.
And I would say, I would add to that, because I was talking about, normal life, you can see the good, you can see the bad. You can see everyone has problems, everyone has things they're great at, everyone has things they're bad at. On social media, the reason it's a problem is they can hide everything, anything
you can
they
hide all
want.
the bad.
Yep.
Anything they don't want you seeing, they can hide. And then their life looks perfect and your life looks horrible.
And even though, I mean, all of us, we know that, like, even if someone's only showing the good parts of their life, like, we know they have problems, but when you're so focused on just seeing, all these cool things that are happening in their life, then it kind of gets to you sometimes. And I mean, and even for plenty of people, especially people who make make a living, or maybe not a living. Well, yeah, some people make a living, maybe not from, like, Instagram specifically, but from social media as a whole. They may hide some of that, or rather choose not to share it, and for very good reasons. So there's nothing necessarily wrong with hiding that stuff. In fact, it can be a very good thing.
Yeah, and also you can just show the best parts of your life, even as a regular person to me.
Right, exactly. But it's still, since we're only consuming the media that from the good parts of their life, it kind of tricks your brain into thinking, oh, this is all that, like, I know their life. I've seen, you see enough that you feel like you know them, even if it's somebody you have never met or anything. But yeah, so you kind of get this idea in your head that, oh, this is, I see everything that happens in their life, basically, and you don't.
Like, and they have a perfect life.
Yeah.
But then it makes me think of a completely random thing. Me and my wife were watching cartoons yesterday because we like to do that, and it is a kind of a random comparison, but it kind of fits. Is these alien kids came to Earth? They transformed themselves to look like humans. And they're having such a hard time being human. And then they made a gadget so they could read minds. They're looking for somebody. That's irrelevant. But then they're looking around and they realize the sister said to her brother, humans have a hard time being human. Everybody has all their problems and they're feeling like they're not getting life out. So watch out. I guess so. Watch out for that situation. Another big potential harm in mainstream social media would be meeting creeps.
Oh, I didn't think of that one, but yeah,
especially for the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's something.
The ladies are the ones who
more.
are usually targeted by that. Yes.
and there's some girls that honestly they just have a low self-esteem and are susceptible to it. And so that's another harm is that
that's probably the biggest reason that the generation before us had such an issue with social media is there are so many bad guys out there that it's way too easy for them to just work their way into the lives of us being people in general, kids.
Because it's a platform that's able to be unsupervised, whereas in real life you have people around you.
Yeah. So I'm thinking those are really the biggest potential harms.
I do have one more to add to the list as well. Oh, another thing is that social media can make it feel like you're like really good friends with people, and it like it can become a replacement for real friendships. Like, because it feels, even if you're not even like DMing people, like just by watching like their stories and their posts, especially if there's someone who posts or puts on their story often, like you're like, oh yeah, I'm friends with that person, and you haven't talked to this person in 3 years. And like you never even knew this person very well at all in real life.
See, I didn't even think about that.
I know.
But that makes perfect sense.
I was just thinking about this week actually, so it can become a replacement for real relationships with people.
And because of the lack of contact, and because of the difference of contact, what you learn from building friendships online will not carry over to the real world much. There'll be some things, but most of it will not carry over. And so it can be really difficult to have real world friendships if you got all your time based on online friendships. I know people that has spent a lot of time online, and because of that, they're unable to. They have a really hard time sustaining real friendships in real life.
Yeah, and another one I just remembered that I was thinking about earlier today is something that we were actually talking about last week, and that is the uncivilized discussions. Not being able
Facebook.
not being able to have a civil discussion with somebody because it's not in person. There's no immediate repercussion to what you say. And you can, like, sticks and stones and breaking bones and words will never hurt me, but honestly, even over online chatting, you can really affect somebody by just with what you say. So
that's true.
There's another one.
Or even if it's not discussions, like, you know, like say you're debating and you're getting mad at each other, even just mean comments, that too. I mean, that affects, I would say that more affects people who like influencers. That's something that they get a lot. But even people who just normal people who've got people in their life who follow them and just aren't nice. Even that hurts more than a random stranger commenting on an influencer's
you
page.
Can
but
say a
still,
lot more when someone isn't there to punch you in the face.
That's true.
You're a lot more bold. Like saying stuff about someone. You can say a lot of things about someone and be like, "Yeah, it's fine." You're not gonna say any of that to them.
Nope.
And the things you would say about someone, you feel emboldened to say to them on the internet, because just like saying it about them, there's no repercussions.
Yes. Yes.
You can kind of go the other way too with saying nice things, but things that fake, like, you really, whether it's fake compliments or like internet dating type of stuff, or maybe not like actual dating, but like when you've got a crush on somebody and like you text them all the time, but you're not actually friends with them.
I have had experience with that.
Yeah. And so it's easier to say things that either you don't mean, like fake compliments, or just things that you know that you don't know the person well enough that you would say it in person.
Oh yeah.
So
on that note, honestly, if you are of dating age, everyone has different rules for that, so I'm not gonna comment on when that is or what that is. If you like someone and you're gonna start something, do it in person. Please.
Yes.
Do not do it over text. Not even a phone call or FaceTime.
If you're not ready to do it in person, you're not ready for the relationship.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah, so those are potential harms.
Yep.
All right.
Really the big things against social media in general. But then there are a good amount of potential benefits.
There is.
I'm looking over at chat. Alex said he turned 18 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Alex. That's awesome.
Yeah. Nice. Wow, that's actually perfect timing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Tell you what. Get a podcast on your birthday.
Pretty cool. Crystal chimed in and said, 100% agree. Social media is no replacement for real life friends.
Yes.
Exactly. Because it's so easy to fall into that trap. It really is. Spending your time on social media instead of with friends. Like, if you just spent an hour scrolling Instagram, you could have pretty much, at least if you've got a friend that lives close by, you could have, like, hung out with a friend for an hour. Or a sibling.
Hung out with them for 45 minutes and driven back, depending how far away you are.
Right.
You know, it's like...
Or like I said, even a sibling, like you've got a sibling that you're friends with.
Yeah.
You could have hung out with them.
Now, on that vein, as far as the benefits...
There's friends that don't live that close.
It's true.
And that you're already friends with, that you want to keep in contact with. And before social media, keeping in contact with them was very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, or at least it could be.
Well, think about Jenna and Becca.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
It was months in between letters, and
Yep.
I mean, sure, there was that anticipation of waiting, but you got to know them a lot better once you're able to, use social media and meet.
Well,
you know?
with them it was more of texting, which I prefer texting one-on-one or in small groups over
Yeah.
social media, as far as if you're trying to become good friends with people.
Yeah.
Or phone calls. Phone calls are good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Social media can be good. Like even for like just people who you're friends with, whether it's casual friends or good friends, and especially like if there's someone who posts about like bigger updates in their life, and like it's somebody
Yeah.
that you don't know well enough to keep in contact with them like every week or every month or something, but you still would like to know what's going on in their life. Like it's not as much a thing anymore to send out like baby announcements and like stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like people don't do that
exactly.
anymore.
And they do,
Well,
but
most
it's
people,
just
social
all
media.
changed to social media.
right? Exactly.
Exactly.
So
yes.
yeah.
So that is one
is
good
one,
thing.
I would say, in my opinion, the way I use social media, that's one of the biggest things for me personally, is being able to keep up with people.
Mhm.
Because, like, for
Yep.
instance, I have people that I make friends with at camp, and they're, I've become good friends with them, and if I see them anywhere else, I say hi. But other than that, it's like, I wonder what's going on in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I might try to get their phone number, but if I don't, then social media helps a lot.
Yep.
Just keeping up.
And another benefit, I guess you could say, is having, especially among our Christian circles, guys getting girls' numbers and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
more,
Yeah, with
kind of
guys,
frowned on and stuff.
That's the
Is-
thing with guys. I'll get their number. Hey,
Yeah.
bro, I want you. So there's a lot of guys, but not with girls,
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas,
especially when you're a
with-
younger teenager. I would
yes.
say.
Yeah.
whereas with social media, you're able to casually keep in contact with
Mhm.
another
Yeah.
person.
Without making it too personal.
Yeah. So-
Which is something.
Yep. That's a good.
Yeah, because that is something you want to be careful of.
Yep.
Is that you're not making it too personal, because people's hearts are fragile.
That's true. Very
So-
true.
whether they like to think so or not.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yup.
Yeah, there's if you don't think that your heart is fragile, then you've probably just not been hurt yet.
I will
as
say,
harsh as that sounds. Huh?
yes, or there is the extent of it was, but it was hurt too much.
Yep.
And now you won't let people
I
hurt
know
you.
people
Yeah.
like that, and yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
anyway, so being able to keep in contact with those friends you already have, that's really a major benefit
Yep.
Yeah.
of social media, especially being especially if for some reason maybe they don't have that was another thing, especially with people in other countries like missionaries and stuff. You met them they came to church or whatever, but then they go back to their country. Well, it's so expensive, texts and calls across
Yeah.
country, but you hop on the internet, send them a DM,
Boom. Free.
free. It's,
That's true. I didn't even
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, it is.
I literally just thought of that.
I think the international tolls have gone down or changed depending on what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, especially if it's like a missionary kid, though, a lot of them don't have phones.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So,
Well, yeah.
or at least like they don't have like their own number and texting and all
Well,
that.
and that's true. And I've known people that like they just don't have a phone. And so I was actually able to keep in contact with a good few people who, like, say, had a tablet or used their parents'
Mhm.
computer through social media.
Yep.
Yes.
And so that's just really an extension of being able to keep in contact with people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would add another one, which I don't know if you're thinking this or not, but if you have a message to bring,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's case in point.
Yes.
know?
I had literally just thought of that. But
Okay,
yes,
yeah. If you have a message to bring, if you want to talk about things,
Yep.
you can grab your phone, turn it on, say, "Hey guys, I just had this thought. That's actually Andrew did that. You might have seen the short just show up for no reason. He just had a thought. He's like, all right, I want to record this thought. I was like, all right, great. And social media allows you to do that, which is really nice because before it was like
Sending an email.
yeah,
A chain
mail.
email,
Oh.
Yes.
Blind carbon copy.
Copy paste. Copy paste.
Uh-huh.
Or
Whoever invented copy and paste, if they're not like a multi-trillionaire, they should have been.
Yeah,
but they
honestly.
probably, you know what that is? It's literally just you cut out a piece of newspaper and you put it onto another piece of paper.
I know, but whoever invented the ability to do that
On the internet? I think it was Bill
Bill Gates?
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure it was
yeah.
Windows. And he is a
He is.
billionaire.
Yes.
He's pretty rich.
That guy is filthy rich. He doesn't even he doesn't even run Microsoft anymore. He's still
Well, I mean,
multi-
yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So
Um,
being able to just send a message out to a bunch of people without
Yeah.
having to personally know every single
Right.
person.
It's a
Or
centralized
the
way to
the
share.
other way is not having to be part of a business or controlled media
Mhm.
because
Like
if you've been on the news
Newspaper.
lately, controlled media is going.
lately, as in like
At least
for
the
years
last
and
several
years
years.
and
Yeah. So that's a huge thing is because before it was a whole process. You had to first of all live in LA, so that's like a non-starter for me.
yeah.
No offense to anyone in LA. But, and then you had to audition and you either got a news anchor job or an acting job. But then
Mhm.
here, I could do both on the same channel.
Yeah.
And I can start it in a matter of minutes,
Mhm.
And that's something that really we've never seen before until now. And it's insane.
Mhm.
Yes, especially within just the past very few years.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just blown up.
It has blown up.
which-
Basically, the past
Good and
20
bad.
years has just, and then YouTube, and then TikTok.
Yeah.
You can't even see my hand anymore.
It's up there.
I don't like
Yeah.
TikTok, by the way. But
So anyway, any other potential benefits?
Another one is it can be an outlet for expressing creativity, which
Yeah.
is kind of similar to the last one,
But it is
the last
different.
point, but it's
Yeah.
different. It's not so much a specific message, but being able to make things, whether it's music, whether it's sharing your art,
Yeah.
whether it's, people
Film.
put out, it could be film.
Films.
People put out videos of them organizing their kitchen.
Because that's just something they love to do. And I
Right,
guess there's an
there's-
audience.
even like specific to me, photography, which that's
Yup.
that's a twofold thing because it's expressing my creativity, but also as a way to hopefully get
business.
clients or at
Yeah.
least show potential clients. I haven't really gotten clients from there because I'm not that big, but it's a good place to point people to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good outlet for expressing your
Creative.
creativity. Even just like like for me on my personal story, sometimes I'll just I'll have a pretty picture that I want to show, or like I'll say I decorated part of my room and I'm like, oh, it just looks so pretty. I just want everyone else to be able to see how
Yeah.
cozy this looks,
Yeah.
and so I'll share it. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
a lot of creativity stuff
Again,
that you can
that's
express.
creativity is another one that was before the internet really hard to express because you
Yep.
had to, maybe get in contact with some merchant and hang your art in their store,
Yeah.
or again be on TV, which that's a whole hassle, And so the social media, and that would be specifically like the media side of social media has
Mhm.
really helped people to be creative and to keep growing as creative
Yep.
individuals, whether it's music or film or photography, and that's been really cool to see.
Yeah, and whether it's something that they're making money off of, or whether it's something that they just do for pleasure.
Yeah.
Because it could be obviously for making money off. That's kind of obvious how that works. I mean, you're trying to get people to see your work and and hire you or buy your stuff or whatever it is. But it can just be as far as if it's just something that you do for your own personal pleasure, just a way to show it to other people, or just to, I mean, because there's some things that if you're the only one who sees it, it doesn't really feel like you accomplished anything.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when you're playing an instrument, you could be a really good pianist, but if nobody else ever hears it, you're like it's not as fulfilling.
Exactly.
Even if you're not like looking for praise, you just want to be able to share it with other people, and because a lot of people people enjoy seeing other people's work.
They do.
And it's just human nature to want to share with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just thought another one popped in my head that I'd thought of before, because you think of a channel like Studio C, which you've not seen much of their stuff, have you?
I've seen a good bit.
It was Blimey Cow that you hadn't seen much of.
Yeah.
Either way, Blimey Cow, they're the type of people, they have a message to bring.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's really cool. And then, but people like Studio C, they do comedy. Not really a message to it. Sometimes there's kind of a meta narrative, but it's just comedy. It's fun. But they have gotten so many letters from people that maybe were going through depression. Maybe there was a kid in a hospital, and all they had to keep them company and keep them happy while they're recovering was Studio C. And that's something that I don't think should be overlooked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the ability to help people in any way, even if it's just by helping them see that the world can be a little bit brighter. So whether you're doing stuff that's to be motivational, or you're doing stuff to make people laugh, or make people feel things,
or whether it's something that's trying to provide encouragement or provide community for people who don't have it. I mean, obviously, if you're able to have an in-person community with whatever, this community, it can be whatever, it can be different for every person. For some people, it might just be just friends, period, because they have, like, nobody that they are close to, that they don't really have an opportunity.
I became friends with someone over social media that was like that, where she didn't have any friends, and we started talking, and we became friends, and we actually became really good friends, and we were able to help each other. And she grew as a person, and I grew, and then she was able to start making friends with other people. We don't talk a ton today, but we're still good friends, and she now has a really good circle of friends, and it's great.
Yep.
And I was able to, that was on a very personal level, like talking to her and sharing stuff with her. But you can do that on a broader level by encouraging people, or just distracting them if they're going through something really rough. And so and
even on the thing of community, like another example for like say you've got interests, and whether you just want to be able to talk about them, or you want to learn from other people who have these same interests to better yourself at like a skill or something. A lot of people don't, when it's something that's specific like that, it can be hard to find that around you. Like, even for me as a photographer, I mean, especially where we used to live, like, there was hardly anybody. There was like one person semi-close that I know of. But it can give you an opportunity to be able to learn from them, and to encourage each other, and to like just share experiences, and just get ideas and stuff.
Growing very specific communities,
for
things like, well, when I started YouTube, I started looking around, and I had to look quite a bit to find other YouTubers that were in my area, but there was a few, and I'm going to be reaching out to them and talking to them, and there was one I already did. She's just starting. She just started like last month. And she just put out her first feature video. Actually, her name is Grace Dorvat. Is that
Dvorak.
From
yeah, it's
Dvorak, I think.
I don't remember how to say it. It's
I need to
something
look this up quick because
it's
I want to give her a shout out because she just started, and I really liked her first video. All right, where Grace Dvorchak. Yeah.
Yep.
It's Grace Dvorchak.
yeah, it's pronounced different than that.
Oh, it
but
is?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's Grace Dvorachek. She is a writer. I actually saw before I saw her videos, their church had actually recorded some of the plays and monologues she'd written, and they're really good.
Mhm.
So if you want to see her stuff, go ahead, go over to Grace Dvorchak, and check her out.
We'll try to put a link in the
yeah,
description.
we'll be
Yeah.
able to put a link in the description. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But her and others, I was able to start connecting with them,
Mhm.
and that was really nice.
Yeah.
So that's a huge benefit of social media is connecting with other people that love doing the same things you love to do,
Right.
and learning.
And it's hard to find those type of people off of line. I mean, like, the only other opportunities that you might find offline is stuff like networking events or like,
Mhm.
as far as photography
that's
type stuff, like
every once in a
wedding
while.
shows and
Yep.
stuff like that. So it's just hard. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? Go and knock on every house in your neighborhood and say, hey, what do you do for a living? Or, hey, what are your hobbies? Like, so how do you,
Exactly.
it's
will
hard to
say-
meet people otherwise. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
things like that used to be a lot easier because communities
That's
were a lot
true.
more interactive.
That's
because
true.
they couldn't interact
Because-
with the wider community.
Yes.
So it's like this is all we
Mhm.
got.
yeah,
so then
Right.
it used to be, and even I would say Florence is a little bit like that still.
A
They're
little bit.
still a little old fashioned, but most of the time it used to be. It's like
A lot of people,
you just
they
go
work.
over to
Everyone
your neighbor's
worked
house.
in the town. A lot of people worked
Exactly.
in their
Yes.
town
you
and all
worked
that.
in the town, you shopped in the town, you
You went
banked
to
in
school.
the town.
You went to church.
And
Everything
so your
was
next
kept in the
door
town.
neighbor could have been your classmate.
Right.
Whereas
Yeah.
now it's a lot more varied.
Yep.
Cars are a lot more efficient, so you can drive wherever you want, whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like in our town, a lot of the people here work 45 minutes away.
Yep.
I'd like to put a quick I can't think of
Disclaimer?
disclaimer. I'd like to put
Okay,
a
yeah.
quick disclaimer on what Silas just said. You can't drive to Hawaii. Anyway,
I mean, you could try.
I got a good joke about that, but we're not gonna say it.
Nah, we'll save that for later. Maybe in
Yeah.
a different podcast.
Or
Just a short.
Yeah, we might make it.
We might have a short coming up.
Yeah. So
Anyway, so that really covers the pros and cons. So
Yeah, I
next,
think so.
yeah. So I think the last thing on here that I wrote down was just really just wrapping it up. Just
Okay.
Yeah,
bringing
because
it all together.
this
and
is kind of like
how do
reviews
how
of
do we
things.
use it?
Reviews
So-
of things. It's this is what it is.
Yeah, we've talked
What's good about it? What's bad
How
about
do
it?
we use
In
it now?
conclusion, what's our final thoughts about social media?
And how you should
And-
use it.
How do you use it to best, I would say, improve your life and grow as a person and use it for the Lord?
One thing that you were saying to me earlier today, Silas, that
Yeah.
we want to really point out is that social media is a tool.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's not like even the original intention of it was it's a tool to be social.
Yeah, it's a
It's-
means to be social.
Yes. So when you
Yeah.
treat it as more than that, because, well, for example, you're not going to take a drill to put a nail in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You're also not going to take a drill to a concert.
That's true.
You're not going to take a drill out to eat.
You're not gonna take a drill to like make a hole this big in your wall.
And you're not going to take a drill on a road trip.
I would say
So-
you're not going to take a drill to pick your nose, but I've seen somebody do that. So.
So, and my biggest
Anyway.
thing, a drill's a tool.
Yes.
A drill's not really part of your life.
Yeah.
You don't really
for some
base.
people, it kind of is.
For
but
some
yes.
people, it's an essential tool to get their job done.
Yes.
But if they're
Like social media influencers who make money on it.
yeah,
Not the average person. They should not be
If-
on there 8 hours a day.
if your drill breaks, you do not cry. You do not have a funeral. You go out and you get a new drill.
Yes.
And so my point here is social media is not a thing. It's not an it. It's not a he, him, her, whatever pronoun you want to use. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And it should be used for something.
So how do we use it?
So how do we use it? I think a really big thing is you need to understand what you want to get out of it.
Yes.
And
don't-
be
you-
aware of how much you're using it
Oh, yeah.
currently, for
and,
sure.
and how much you're using it will depend on what you want to get out of it. So, for instance, if you just want to keep in touch with friends, then you probably don't need to use it that much. People don't post that much.
Yep.
And other people are busy, so they're not going to be always available
Mhm.
to
Exactly.
keep in touch.
So, I haven't talked to this person in so long. Go ahead, DM them. That's great. I love that, and I'm for that. Or
Mhm.
if you want to send a funny meme to one of your good friends, I do that. And there's other people that do it more than me, but I do that. Or you just want to check up on people. You scroll through the feed, see what's going on in people's lives. I think that's a great way to use social media. And with that, I would say probably don't need to use it that much. Don't need
Yeah.
to be
Mhm.
on it that much.
When you're sitting there scrolling through the feed that you've already scrolled through,
Yep.
and then when you find yourself doing this, pulling out your phone and being like, there's no new notifications. Well, I'll just check
This other one.
I'll just check the other social media,
Mhm.
and then stop real quick and think about that. If there's no new notifications, when's the last time you're on there? If it was 5 minutes ago, that's
You're using it for entertainment, not for keeping up with friends.
Exactly. And entertainment's okay, but entertainment should be sparing.
It should. It
Because
definitely
at
should.
the end of the day, entertainment
is not benefiting
doesn't
you
really serve a purpose.
much at all.
So if you're spending 5 hours on entertainment,
You wasted a lot of your day.
amusement.
did.
Amusement.
A means not, and muse means to think.
Yeah.
Ah.
Moral means without a morality, which means it's not good or it's not bad. A muse, to think, and that means without thinking.
Mhm.
Amusement
Mhm.
parks.
Amusement is you're
You're
doing
not
without
thinking.
thinking.
You're just doing it.
Right.
You're just going to a park for the sake of going to that park. It's
just for having fun.
it's entertainment. Yeah. So if you're using it only for amusement, you should probably take a break.
Yes.
You should probably
Agreed.
back off. If you're using it to connect with people, that's great.
Mhm.
Then when you see, they DM me, and then you can talk, And
Yep.
that depending who you are, you might use it a little more, a little less. As
Yeah,
long as you
depending-
know why you're using it.
Right.
If you're using it to learn,
Mhm.
especially stuff like YouTube or
Yep.
different Twitter posts or well, not Twitter. Twitter's it's a gray
I
area.
don't have Twitter, so I can't
So
speak to that. I
have
just
Twitter,
ignore it.
and I don't follow most people, but even the few people I follow, which are tech YouTubers,
Mm-hmm.
Tech YouTubers.
I know.
YouTube.
my main social is YouTube. That's what I consume the most of, for better or
Mhm.
for worse. But if you're wanting to learn, that's great. But I learned that there's one filmmaker I learned from that I watch. He has a YouTube channel. He says you need to use the 50-50 rule. For every, 50% of your time should be learning, 50% of your time should be doing.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you are watching videos on how to, say you want to be a photographer,
Mm-hmm.
you're watching videos on how to be a photographer for an hour, you should spend an hour shooting.
Yep.
And that's how you will learn the most. is by spending the same amount of time learning as you are doing. Because
Right.
you cannot learn without doing.
Yep.
Otherwise, become what is called a video head, which I have the propensity to be.
Yeah.
I learn a lot and don't do anything,
Uh-huh.
and then it's worth nothing. Because
Right.
then I go to do it, and I was like, oh, I never thought that would come up. Now it means something totally different. Now I don't even know what he was talking about because I didn't do it.
Right.
I would say, so you got learning, and then if you're doing it for business, so if you want to become a YouTuber, you want to become a TikTok influencer, you want to start promoting things on Instagram, that's great. But my caution to you would be, don't make it your life.
Don't forget, is if you're wanting to do it for a job, don't forget it's a job. A job is part of your life. A job provides for your life.
Yes.
A job is not your life.
That's especially a something you got to watch when you're basically a social media influencer, even if it's partially as your job. Like, there's a lot of photographers. I mean, I only know this specific example because I am a photographer, so I follow photographers. But a lot of photographers are their pages are basically a mix of their business, but then also their personal life, because that is the way to really build your business and connect with prospective clients is to do that. But then it can be easy to make social media your life. Like you said, your job and your social media need to be separate. Like, I've recently heard Elise Myers talk about that. I don't know if you know her. She's somebody I follow on Instagram. And she does a bunch of different stuff, but she is a social media influencer, so she posts like encouraging and funny stuff and all that type of thing. But I've heard her talk about it recently, how she has to make sure that she keeps those things separate. Like, there's certain things in your life you don't share, and you also just have to, once you do what you need to do on social media for the day, then you go and you have your actual life too. Because
have a regular life. Go out with a friend and don't bring a camera.
Right.
It's like you want because at the end of the day, you cannot live your life defined by people that don't know you. And I think actually that's a really good mantra for all aspects of social media. You cannot let your life be defined by people that don't know you. And whether it's social and feeling bad about yourself, or learning and thinking you can't do anything because you don't know enough or you don't have the right gear, or whether it's content creation, thinking I need to act in a certain way because these people are saying that I'm not funny enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not engaging enough. You cannot let who you are as a person be defined by people that don't know you.
And if you're the type of person who's more easily defined by that type of thing, maybe being on social media a lot is not for you. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I know back when my photography business was my main job, I was starting to starting to consider, as far as my social media page for my photography, whether I wanted to kind of make it a half lifestyle, half photography page that I really kept up on and trying to grow a community like I've seen other photographers do. Because I mean, if you want to get a lot of business from social media, you really do have to keep up with it and post often. But I was like, you know what? That's not worth it for me. It takes a lot of time. And you really have to get your game down exactly in order to even be able for it to make a difference in your business, without completely overtaking your life. Like, I'm really slow when I'm trying to post post like a picture and come up with the caption and stuff. It takes me forever. And plus, I'm one of those people who tends to get sucked into social media easily. And so I was like, I don't think that's for me. I'm not gonna try to make like a community on here because it's just not going to be good for me. I'm going to spend way too much time on it. And like
Yeah.
that, then that's all I'm going to be thinking about is, oh, maybe I could post this on social media. Okay, let me arrange, I'm at a coffee shop, and let me arrange my stuff and take a
Yeah.
cool picture of it, which it's okay to do that sometimes, but
Oh yeah.
when I'm consumed by it, then I'm like doing it all the time.
And then you're
And
not
I-
enjoying life.
Right. Because yeah, you just get into this bubble. It's even though it can be fun to be in like this community of some sort or to be able to share your life online a lot, it's not the same as talking to people and actually living your life
Yeah.
in doing stuff that you like. It's just not.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I would say a good way to close it is it's a tool, and if you start getting defined by that tool, then you become the tool.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Especially since a lot of social media is designed to be addictive.
it is.
It really is.
Oh yeah.
At least like
Yes,
mentally
yeah.
addictive, and just the way your brain works. It's meant to make you want to keep consuming more of the media and stay
Mhm.
on there longer. And like, I mean, if you think about it, like the times where you're not, like right now I'm super busy, so I'm not on social media a lot, but I know the times where I'm not very busy, like back like when I only had my photography, it wasn't quite a full-time job, so I had more time to be on social media, and I could spend way too much time just consuming stuff on social media because it's designed to make you stay, especially like the reels nowadays. Oh my goodness, you can easily spend an hour or two just watching reel after reel after reel. So you really do have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
And if you're getting addicted to it, like you find whenever you've got like a free moment, you're like, okay, let's open up this app, whatever your app of choice is, and start looking at it. Even if it's just for a few minutes, but it's like a few minutes, like all day long. It's breaking up your day. It is addicting you. It's just not good for you.
Yeah.
Taking up time that you could be doing something
Yep.
profitable.
And it's
Yep.
taking away your concentration, even if it's
Yep.
because it distracts you. It's when you're doing this thing for like 5 minutes in between, every 10 minutes in your task or every 30 minutes in your task, like you're not as going to be as productive at whatever
No.
you're doing.
And that makes
Yeah.
sense. I think we've pretty well covered it. It's a tool. Just to wrap it all up, I
Mhm.
like at the end of my episodes to put a little bow on it. So it's a tool that can be used for a lot of things.
Yep.
So if you are mindful and you know why you want to use social media,
Yep.
and if you are aware of how much you're using it and how you're using it, it can be great.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get addicted or you let other people define who you are, people that don't know you define who you are, then it will not be good for you,
Yep.
and you need to stop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Basically, live in real life more than you live on the internet.
Live in real
It's
life.
better. It really
use the
is.
internet as a tool.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel very satisfied with that answer. I hope you guys feel satisfied with that answer as well. So, before we go, we got that last segment. I will again let the guests go first.
All right.
What is making you happy this week, Beth?
Probably multiple things,
Okay.
but the
you want,
one
you
that
wanna
you
pick one?
the one you alluded to earlier, which is I'm very excited about,
making us both
is
happy.
it is is I bought a car on Saturday after not having a car for 2 months.
RAV4.
Yep, I got a RAV4, which that's definitely making me happy because it's got 4-wheel drive, and especially after what happened to make my last car get totaled, I am very happy to have 4-wheel drive so that I won't be slipping on the roads as easily.
Or decapitating do not enter sign.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, she
So-
decapitated a do not enter sign by slipping on a 65-mile-an-hour highway.
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I didn't get hurt at all, but my car
hallelujah.
did get hurt. So I'm very happy that I've got a car,
Yeah.
and now he doesn't have to worry about.
Yes. Because
Um,
now I have a car.
Yes, now he's got his own car back because I was dropping him off for work and then taking it to work, and I work a ways away.
Yep.
So if he wanted his car in the evening, he wouldn't get it till after I got home.
Yeah.
And so that was not so fun for him. So now you've got your car back. I've got my own car. It needs some work, but still, I'm very happy with it. It's totally drivable. And so, and then sleep is also making me happy.
Oh, you've been getting some of that?
No. The problem is I haven't been getting enough. But I have been liking what I have.
Same here.
The last 2 nights I didn't get enough sleep, but I slept great for the time I did sleep.
Andrew, what's making you happy?
Honestly, doing this podcast with you.
Yeah?
I wasn't sure at first if it, like, how much I'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
But really coming each week, doing the podcast with you, I've been really enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I have also really enjoyed it. It's been so enjoyable, especially because I've seen it grow. I've seen more people watching, and I've been seeing more people interacting. And yeah, that's been really cool. For me, it's been those two things have been making me happy. Also, on top of that, I found records. Okay, I have these right here. I don't know if some of you even know what a record is. Okay, this is a box, and inside are records.
By the way, if you want to listen to other records, as long as you're careful, you can borrow some of mine.
Oh.
Because I have a lot.
See?
It's a record.
And I have a record player, and I have been using these records as my bedtime music for the past...
Like 3 nights?
3 nights, yeah. And, I don't know what it is about records. They're just so soothing. Because it's like having music and white noise, but it not being annoying.
Right.
If y'all have the budget for a record player, get one because records are dirt cheap.
Look at thrift stores. Thrift stores are the best
really
place.
are.
Don't look at antique shops.
No.
They overprice them.
They rip you off.
I mean, they aren't like crazy expensive usually at antique stores, but they're way more expensive than you can get them at thrift stores.
Go to a thrift store.
I
Go to
have,
your
like,
local
big
Goodwill,
stack.
St. Vincent, and any other brand of shady thrift store you can find. These things are awesome.
Yep.
That made me happy. Yeah, I got a video coming up. Just boring. Well, hopefully not boring. I think I'm going to post a vlog actually of her getting the car.
Yup.
And then we might have a couple of shorts.
Yeah, something we were kind of alluding to earlier. So a little while back, I put a short video. It
Called
wasn't an actual
Andrew's-
short.
Andrew's thoughts.
Andrew's thoughts. So I get these random thoughts at times. My brain really expounds on it and then just automatically compresses it. And then I'm like, man, I want to tell people about this. So the one I already put on was Andrew's thoughts on perfection. It's like 4 minutes long, something like that. And we're going to try to make them I'm going to try to make them shorter so that they're within just shorts.
We're going to try to make them about 1 minute.
Yeah, so either way, check that out. It's not going to be consistent in any way because my random thoughts are not consistent in any
They're
way.
random.
They're completely random. So, but hopefully I will remember to write those down when I have them. That's my main issue.
Yeah.
We'll make a little video, throw that on there.
Yeah, so we might be getting some Andrew's thoughts, maybe. Oh, I see. Maybe a few of mine or some other people's. But probably mostly Andrew because he comes up with the randomest things. So keep your eye out
And
for.
I was just gonna say the first one was my thoughts on perfection, but there's not gonna be any theme. It's just gonna be like whatever I'm thinking about. I could have thoughts on, I don't know, octopus eating. Did you know the food goes through their brain? Anyway, different stuff like
So yeah,
random.
Start looking forward to it. I'm hoping to get more videos out so that you guys can keep coming back and getting something great. But yeah, with that, please subscribe, like this video, check out any of the other podcasts or videos.
there anything you want them to check out?
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess if they want to check out my photography stuff, they could.
We're gonna have Instagram.
Yeah, probably Instagram, and then if they want to see my website, there's a link from there.
All right, so check out
Treasures
her Instagram.
Blessed Treasures Photo is the handle.
At Blessed Treasures Photo.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have that linked in the description. And yeah, check her out. She's got great work. I love her photography. I'm not nearly as good. Not even close.
It takes a lot of practice.
It does.
A lot.
But yeah, with that, I hope you guys have a great night, and we will see you next week.